Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be hosting his Bangladeshi counterpart in West Bengal, and the issue of Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh is likely to dominate the talks. It is believed that the Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will ask Modi to compel Myanmar to take back the Rohingya refugees who have now made Bangladesh their home. Reports also suggested that Sheikh Hasina could seek more financial aid from India to resolve the Rohingya crisis her country is facing and to ensure the process of sending the refugees back is expedited. Close to 700,000 Rohingya Muslims sought refuge in Bangladesh since the military crackdown on them in Myanmar's Rakhine state last year. Add to that the 400,000 Rohingyas who were already staying in Bangladesh prior to the army crackdown in Myanmar. And to bring us more details on this news story, I am joined in by our international correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who's joining me live from the newsroom. Let's quickly go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, even though it's an informal summit, the Rohingya crisis is expected to feature as one of the key issues during Sheikh Hasina's informal visit to India. You know, what can we expect to emerge from these talks?
Well, a lot of things will be on the agenda. Not only Rohingya issue, but the Teesta River issue is also likely to dominate the agenda. This will be the third informal summit between the Indian Prime Minister with any foreign leader, but this time happening on the Indian soil. The first two happening in, of course, China and Russia, which we all know about in Wuhan and Sochi. But talking about this informal summit, in this informal summit, the Bangladesh Prime Minister is going to visit India for 2 days, and she is going to take part in convocation ceremonies, two convocation ceremonies. One will be Vishwa Bharati convocation ceremony, in which the Indian Prime Minister is also be taking part, and then of course there will be bilateral talks. We don't expect any kind of joint statement or joint communique because it's an informal summit, but it showcased the neighborhood reach of the Indian foreign policy, neighborhood first being the focus. And remember, this visit by the Bangladeshi Prime Minister coming just weeks after the Indian Prime Minister went to Nepal, so it showcased Indian foreign policy clearly focusing on its neighboring countries, and this time around focus is on Bangladesh. As you already told about the Rohingya issue being dominating the agenda, that's something that's worrying the entire region, whether it's India, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's Myanmar. But this is important also because Bangladesh goes to elections later this year, so that is why solving this issue is important for the Bangladeshi Prime Minister.
All right. Also, Siddhant, coming to the Rohingya issue, which of course is very important at the moment, what are, in terms of, you know, we hear there are reports doing the rounds that Sheikh Hasina is also expecting financial aid from India. Is that true?
Well, a lot of things have happened when it comes to Rohingya issue between India and Bangladesh. India has provided a lot of aid also to the refugees who are living there. Bangladesh has been saying that it's adding additional burden to its economy, its resources. That is why it wants India acting as a big brother to help Bangladesh. We can expect some kind of at least announcement or decision being made and announced by the separate Prime Minister's office of Bangladesh and India, because there won't be a joint statement. That is of course likely to happen, but the Rohingya issue of course going to dominate, especially coming after that report by Amnesty International of 100 Hindus being killed by the in Myanmar by the terrorist organization there.
Right. I was just coming to that, Siddhant. You know, the Amnesty report was just issued yesterday, and WION went on to cover it at great length. Do you think that the report, which throws light on the other side of the narrative, will influence the Indian government's stance?
Well, whatever will the Indian government stand, it won't be made public tomorrow, because tomorrow is an informal summit. It will, between the Indian Prime Minister and the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, it will last only a few hours, perhaps 6 hours, even though the Bangladeshi Prime Minister is here in India for 2 days. But that, of course, is going to be one of the focus, because that report has just come out. And, of course, the policy makers from all the three countries, Myanmar, Bangladesh and India, will be focusing on this latest development that's coming out of the entire Rohingya crisis. crisis, especially focusing on the radicalization, because that is also another threat
right.
that can impact the regional security architecture.
Right. Siddhant, I'm also joined in by our Bangladesh Bureau Chief, Saad Hamadi. Let me quickly go across to Saad. Saad, reports in India are suggesting that Sheikh Hasina will also be looking forward to financial aid from India, in terms of tackling the Rohingya issue is concerned. What are the challenges that Bangladesh is facing in terms of this crisis?
Well, it's a major challenge for Bangladesh right now to accommodate such a large number of population. About 10 million of the Rohingya refugees are now staying in Bangladesh. So with regards to relief, even though Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has clearly said that she's not appealing for any financial assistance from the international organizations, clearly she would have difficulty to accommodate them with feeding them and also providing them the livelihood. And the accommodation is becoming a bigger challenge with the monsoon appearing as well. India has launched its Operation Insaniyat with regards to the relief assistance that India has already provided in 2 installments. There are more approaching in the coming days. But of course, this would be a key ask for Bangladesh for India to look into the repatriation process to take place. I had a brief interaction with the foreign minister yesterday in Bangladesh, and he too said that the issue might come up, the issue of Rohingyas. And with regards to repatriation, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had previously said that although India is providing the relief assistance and also helping Myanmar with the prefabricated materials for arranging the accommodation for the Rohingyas once they return to their homeland, but she expects India and China to put more diplomatic influence with regards to creating that environment for repatriation in a sustainable manner so that the Rohingyas do not come back as it has occurred in several occasions in the past.
Right, a very valid point made out there by you that she's looking at repatriation in a very sustainable manner. Saad, also it's an opportunity of high-level review of partnership, since we know that both nations, India and Bangladesh, are due to hold elections in the next 12 months. So give us a bird's-eye view of how important this informal visit is for Bangladesh as well.
Absolutely. If you look at the visitors and the delegation with the Bangladesh Prime Minister that's accompanying, you'd have all the advisors from her entourage, and also the ministers of 3 different ministries and secretaries from different ministries as well. The foreign minister would be accompanying. You'd have advisors of foreign, economic, energy affairs. So it goes to show that there's quite a level of political significance in her visit, and it would show the kind of efforts that Bangladesh is making to creating the next election environment, and also the political mileage that the ruling party has for the elections. And since this is an informal meeting, much of this may not come out in the media, but there is that expectation from analysts who suggest that there's, of course, the room to discuss on this. The foreign minister in Bangladesh has also said that if Prime Minister Modi asks about the election environment in Bangladesh and also the flavor here, clearly there is room for that discussion, and India is a major partner in development, and also being the largest neighbor for Bangladesh, the country would provide all sorts of detail that is required.
Right. Thank you so much, Saad, for bringing us all those details. Saad Hamadi, our Bangladesh Bureau Chief, and Siddhant Sibal also joining us from the newsroom. Siddhant, our principal correspondent. Thank you so much for bringing us all those details. Now, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will inaugurate the Bangladesh Bhavan at the Vishwa Bharati University in Shanti Niketan on Friday. Built at a cost of ₹25 crore, the Bangladesh Bhavan would put on display the Indo-Bangla relations, liberation of Bangladesh, and Rabindranath Tagore's affiliation with Bangladesh.
The relation between Bangladesh and India is not only a geographical relation, it is an emotional relation also, especially with Bengal. And both the countries, India and Bangladesh, they share Rabindranath Tagore, who composed national anthem for 2 countries. And I think it's a unique thing in the world that one poet composing, not composing, the 2 nations are sharing songs written by one poet. So that is very important, and we have many common things, like, you know, we have Rabindranath, we have Nazrul, we have Jibanananda Das, Gagan Harkara, Lalan Fakir. We share common language, common culture.
The library will also house close to 6,500 books shortlisted and selected by the Bangladesh government. WION's Pooja Mehta gets us an exclusive look from inside the Bangladesh Bhavan ahead of the inauguration.
We are at Shantiniketan's Vishwa Bharati University's Bangladesh Bhavan, and we are right now at the library, and what you see behind me, all the furniture, all the book racks, everything has come from Bangladesh. As you can see, the furniture is here, they are putting everything in place, and most importantly, what you see here are the books shortlisted and selected for the Bangladesh Bhavan library. These are the books which have come from Bangladesh. As you can see, it says 54 packet book, and these are not just mere any books. These are books which highlight the 1971's Bangladesh's liberation war. It talks about the Mukti Yodhas. It also talks about Rabindranath Tagore's role during Bangladesh's liberation war. And as you can see behind me, people are working here to put everything in place before the inauguration ceremony. Like we know, the inauguration ceremony will be attended by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So they are not taking any chances, and they are wanting to gift this to both the Prime Ministers, and most importantly, this library will play an important role for all those research scholars who are going to come to this Bangladesh Bhavan and read about the India-Bangladesh relations, also take lines from what really happened in 1971, what happened during the liberation war, and also to know more about the Mukti Yodhas. So the Bangladesh Bhavan is all set to be unveiled in a short while from now, and this is going to be a major attraction for all those research scholars here. In Shantiniketan with camera person Felix Roquinat, this is Pooja Mehta for WION.
Hasina would also be accompanied by a high-level entourage, including 3 ministers, advisors of political, foreign, economic and energy affairs, and secretaries of different ministries.
প্রধানমন্ত্রীর সঙ্গে দুই দেশের মধ্যকার বিদ্যমান দ্বিপাক্ষিক সম্পর্কের সর্বশেষ অবস্থা নিয়ে আলোচনায় বসবেন বলে আশা করা যাচ্ছে।
Discussions may also revolve around greater diplomatic influence from India on Myanmar in pursuing repatriation of the Rohingya refugees.
There is always room for improvement. India is helping, but Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has asked for further strengthening of efforts by India. So I think there is nothing wrong in that.
Such a high-profile visit is not likely to go without political discussions in the run-up to elections for both the countries. WION's Dhaka Bureau Chief Saad Hamadi shares the ground sentiments in Dhaka.
In April, a 19-member delegation of the ruling Awami League, led by its Secretary General Obaidul Qadir, visited India at the invitation of BJP. Qadir had called on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a half-hour meeting that he later said went extremely well. In recent developments, despite criticism against ruling party activists for ballot stuffing and occupying polling centers, Awami League has won the city corporation election in southwestern Khulna. Bangladesh has waged a Philippine-styled war on drug dealers in which security forces have killed 33 people in a week since May 15. Analysts say Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to India and her meeting with Narendra Modi will have major political significance in the run-up to the national elections in Bangladesh due in less than a year. In Dhaka, Saad Hamadi, WION.